So every Friday, we get together right here at 72 hours into the fast to do something amazing, something powerful. And that's a complete review of fasting. Not just what's happening inside your body, not just how you feel today, but how fasting actually works from the beginning to the end, as a system, as a strategy, as a tool. This is the blueprint review, the fasting time that we do, the fasting manual episode, if you will. Whether this is your first time or this is your 100th time. If you're with us for the first time or you have been with us for 10 weeks or the 15th weeks, this is where your space is. And I'm so excited that you're here. Today gives you the full picture so that next week, it isn't a trial or error. Next week, it becomes design. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. I'm here to help you have the successes in your health just like you're having in other areas of your life, so that you can show up for those things that are so important, the connections with the family, with the friends, with the community, and for those dreams that you've been pouring into. You don't need superhuman power. You need a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow, and you need the support and determination to keep going. And that's what you get right here. So go ahead and put new in the comments if you are new. I'd love to give you a hand clap and some music. Just to let you know that we're excited that you're here. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments, in the chat, so we can get to those. And welcome whatever platform you're joining us from, whether that's in the United States, in some city, town, some village somewhere, or you're around the country, around the world. We are so excited that you have come to hang out with us. And then a special shout out to our Accelerator members who are out there having a good time and hanging out with us. So we're excited that you're here. We've got some good things that we're going to take a look at. I've got my monitors off to the side, so we'll take a look at that. And right down below me, that's my Dexcom Clarity report that you're seeing right there. We'll take a look at what that looks like on my continuous monitors as we get into the rest of the show. One of the things that I'm excited about is that the Health Action Plan, which is the functional arm of Limitless Living, the Limitless Living method, I should say, the functional arm, the health functional arm, there are so many components to it that allows you, wherever you are in your health journey, to come and to plug in. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to start over. On the channel, there is a playlist, and it's called Start Here. So if you're interested in knowing what we're doing, how to jump in, how to become a part of what we do, get to the channel, the YouTube channel, and hit the Start Here playlist and begin going through that. If you want to know what we're doing this week, if you want to know, hey, what did he eat for the last time before he started his fast? Or right now, what is he going to eat to end the fast? You can get there, and in this week's videos, you'll find all of those right there, so you can jump in. But one of the most important parts of what we do is encompassed in the MOVE campaign, metabolic optimization via exercise. Let's go ahead and let's listen to that promo right now. Welcome to MOVE, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started. Just so excited that that campaign is going. So join us every day. We've got an episode coming out every day. Make sure you get in there and become a part of that. One of the things that I want you to do, and as you get into that series, you'll begin learning that, begin developing a 5-minute routine, whatever the routine is, right? What is going to be your MOVE non-negotiable, right? So move, non-negotiable. 5 minutes a day. You may not be able to do the entire workout with us. You may not be able to do the 30 minutes or the 20 minutes, whatever the workout is, but what's the 5-minute thing that you're going to do? Okay, what's your non-negotiable? Now, before we get into our discussion about fasting and how fasting works, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute, but first, let's talk about what's going on with me and with you as we get into the fast. And this is how our feeling check-in. So, right? So how are you doing? And so whenever we talk about fasting, there are some things that we want to look at. We want to see how we're doing. Are we getting the benefit? In fact, when you're looking at anything that you want to change, you are looking to improve it. You want to make sure you're monitoring, and you want to make sure that you're doing these check-ins. And so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And there are a few places that I want to stress. There are lots of other things we can talk about, but we want to talk about the body, we talk about the mind, and we want to talk about the mood. And this all falls into physical, mental, and emotional, right? And so when we talk about 72 hours, right? Your body is in a particular space, and there are lots of things going on. If you are fasting with us, by the way, go ahead and drop that in the chat right now. So, body-wise, are you steady? When people talk about how they're feeling physically, the thing that often will get people, they're feeling tired, they're feeling as though they were walking through mud, they're feeling as though they've hit a wall. So the question is, are you energized? Are you tired? Do you feel calm? Right? Are those places where you are? So right now, for me, and if you watched our show last night, I talked about me being physically tired because I was not hydrating, because I was not resting like I should. Did a better job last night, got in bed, made sure I was drinking and made sure I was hydrating. And so today I am actually feeling energized, right? So you go all the way to the end of that line. So I'm feeling energized right now. And then in terms of our thought process, often people say they feel foggy-headed. They feel as though they're in a bubble. And they're not able to get their words. And so are you clear? Are you feeling foggy, or are you feeling sharp, right? That's the question. And right now I'm feeling clear. I did a good job of resting. I'm energized, I'm hydrating. This morning I got up. We don't usually see patients on Friday, but we saw patients today, and I was excited to talk with them and to really begin talking to them about the limitless living method for some people who were now getting into coming to see us and retaking their life, if you will. Right? So people this morning, we had a patient come back and they were like, oh my goodness, I did not understand what was going on in my body. And now I have a better idea, so I can make decisions, right? So clearing. Are we clear? Are we sharp? So I'm feeling sharp today. And then in terms of our mood, how are we emotionally? Are we peaceful? Are we restful? Do we feel grounded? Excited is one word that I'm going to use, right? Because I'm excited this week because if you know the last several weeks, we've had some things going on with me. And so I am better. I am feeling better and so excited for the improvements that I'm getting in that space. Okay? So body, mind, mood. I have to think about that for a second. Body, mind, mood. And then let's go ahead and let's talk about the numbers. This week's numbers. So what is your blood sugar saying? What are your ketones saying? What is hydration and sleep? So let's go ahead and we're going to hop over and we're going to take a look at my, this is my Libre is the first one we're going to look at right here. And it should come up in just a minute, maybe not. There we go. Libre. Well, let's get back over here for a minute until that decides it's gonna work for us. Let's see. All right, we're gonna take a look at a Libre in just a minute. Let's get that back up. Yeah, it's taking its time. Let's see, what do we got? But what is your blood sugar telling you, right? So that's the whole idea there. What is my sugar saying? What's it doing? And when we talk about fasting, one of the things that I advocate and I tell people, hey, you need to be checking your numbers. You need to be checking your blood sugars. You need to be checking to see what's going on with your ketones. You need to be monitoring yourself to make sure that those are where you want them to be. And as soon as that comes up, we'll take a look. But in the meantime, what has been going on with you? What have your blood sugars been? One of the places where people will have challenges is if they are not doing a good job of managing, for instance, people who are diabetics who are on medication, if they are not adjusting their medication, if they are not talking to their healthcare provider, they can have some challenges. Now, let me make this point for you. When you begin fasting, your fasting improves your insulin resistance, right? So that's the whole idea behind fasting. Fasting improves, well, not the whole idea. One of the ideas behind fasting is that it improves your insulin resistance. So as your insulin resistance gets better, your blood sugars get better. When blood sugars get better, right, you have to make sure you're adjusting medication. For those of you who are not diabetic, as you fast, you may have to also adjust things like hydration, sleep patterns, and so forth, because it is, if you don't do that, then you run into some other issues, okay? So what is your blood sugar, what is the blood sugar saying to you? What are those things saying? And we'll talk more about monitoring here in just a minute. So your body is the data. Your body is the diary, or diary. The body is the diary. So your body is the diary. It reveals how well your structure is holding. Not just am I going through the motions, but am I seeing benefits? Am I seeing some things in my health? Okay, the ketones, the blood sugars, all of those, we should see smoother curves, more predictable pattern, because the fasting. Because fasting success is not measured by perfection, it's measured by consistency. And consistency comes from the structure that we do, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into our discussion for today. And let's go ahead. Give me just a second here. And it looks like all of our, here we go. But yeah, so fasting not just a thing that you're doing, but you should begin seeing benefits to that as well. You should begin seeing all of the, I shouldn't say all of, you should begin seeing adjustments in your blood sugars. You should see things in your weight. You should see that you're having to make changes in blood sugars or medications, right? So that is a very important one. So let's go ahead and let's get over to our fasting discussion. All right, so we're talking about fasting. 72 hours is where we are, right? And so we've covered the 33-hour fast, right? So that's the transition. We've covered the adaptation phase, which is the 56 hours that we do. We've covered all of that. And today is essentially a master class on how to fast well, how to fast on purpose, and how to do that consistently so it's not always a trial and error. So it is a thing that is built into what you do. Think of this kind of like building a house. Every fast has 3 phases: the setup, the steady or the in-between, and breaking the fast. If you understand these, then your fast will go successfully if your goal is weight management, blood sugar control, inflammation reduction, mental clarity, discipline, right? Getting into a routine, or just general metabolic health. So In this episode, let's walk through the entire fasting arc from the beginning to the end, and we start by talking about the setup, right? So phase one, the setup. So fasting preparation determines success. I can't say that enough. How you prepare for the fast will directly affect what goes on in the fast. Most fasting struggles don't happen during the fast. They happen in the setup phase, long before the hunger spikes ever come, longer before those cues begin pulling at you. So here's how we prepare for the fast correctly so you don't crash on day one or anywhere in the fast. Number one, preparing your last meal. Preparing your last meal. Don't wing it. People think that fasting starts on hour zero. So I'm about to fast and okay, boom, this is zero. I'm fasting now. No, it actually starts with your final meal. And in fact, if we were to extrapolate it, it actually starts way before that. But we'll start with final meal. A good last meal helps you to sustain during the first hours when your body's changing, when the hormones are adjusting, when there are neuronal signals, when there are thought processes that happen. So we want to prioritize protein in our meal, because remember, protein, when we eat protein, it gives off that protein YY, and that helps to send a signal to our brain, hey, that we're full. It helps keeps us full longer. We want to prioritize healthy fats, because those help produce something called CCK, cholecystokinin, which also helps with the GI tract and slowing the GI tract and helps us to feel fuller longer. Non-starchy vegetables, because remember, starchy vegetables will cause spikes in the blood sugar. When the blood sugar spikes, we've got to get insulin, and when insulin comes out, it delays the progression into beta oxidation, and so we don't get the full benefit of the fast because we've delayed that progression. You want to limit the carbs. We're talking about that last meal. And we want to make sure that there's not a preponderance of sugar. In fact, there should not be any added sugar in that last meal. So that should not be the meal where you're trying Aunt Sue's pecan pie or the new carrot cake that they just made, or that time that you wanted to have the donut. This is not the time to try that. I want you to think of this just like anything else that you're doing in your life. When you are about to do something, you prepare for it. When you are starting a new job, when you're going to buy a new house, new car, when you're going to invest, when you're getting a new outfit, when you're going to get your hair done, when you're trying to find a new plumber, barber, whatever it is, you prepare. And this is that process. So don't think of, and you heard me just say, not the donut, not the cake, not the pecan pie. So don't think of this as, oh, I'm being restricted. No, this is your preparation. This is your go time. A bad last meal makes the first 12 hours of fasting very, very challenging. Now, you may be able to struggle through it, push through it, white knuckle through it, but it has an effect on the next time you fast, because your brain will remember. It said, remember that last time? We didn't go so well. So maybe we shouldn't do that this time. That is a residual of what happened last time, right? So number one, prepare that last meal. Don't wing it. Number two, begin hydrating before the fast. Now, most of us during the fast, I'll put my hands up. Because we're not eating, we also don't think about drinking. So during the fast, by virtue of the fasting itself, you're more likely to be dehydrated. You're more likely to drink less during the fast. So don't wait until you're thirsty to begin drinking. You want to begin doing that way ahead of time. We had a question recently about dry fasting versus non-dry fasting, wet fasting. And dry fasting is a bit more challenging than the fasting that we do, because here we say, hey, we're just not eating or drinking any calorie-containing substances. We're not eating anything that has calories. We're not drinking anything that has calories. But you're allowed to drink water. You're allowed to drink unsweetened tea. I will drink zero sugar beverages. Okay? Hydrating makes the fast go smoother. But don't wait until the day when you're fasting or as you're getting through the fast to start hydrating. You want to hydrate a lot earlier than that. Okay? So don't wait. So prepare that last meal. Number 2, hydrate. Number 3, set your structure. Put it together. What I mean by that, the things that are going to support your fasting need to already be in place. And as you get into the fast, you begin learning the things that you need, right? So you need a routine bedtime. I'm going to tell you, if you're tired, fasting is much harder. If you are exhausted, because remember, there are hormonal changes that are happening in the body. So make sure that you're having a good bedtime, a reasonable bedtime. We recommend that you shoot for at least 7 hours of sleep, 7 hours of restful, restorative sleep. Right? Make sure your environment is conducive for fasting. Don't have candy and cookies and cakes all around you and say, okay, I'm about to fast. Now, you, once again, may be able to get through the fast, but you're white-knuckling it, and there are temptations there. So make sure you have a good bedtime. Make sure you have a good environment. And then begin working on your mindset. This is a good one. What are your pre-fast affirmations? What are the things that you're going to be telling yourself before the fast? Why I'm fasting. The goal I'm looking for. The determination, right? What is the eventuality? When am I going to end the fast? What are my affirmations? I am a faster. I am working on my body. I am important enough to make changes in my lifestyle. And then plan for success. Understand that you're going to make it across the finish line. If you're fasting for 24 hours, I'm going to fast for 24 hours. If I'm fasting for 48 hours, I'm fasting. I'm going to end at 48 hours. 72 hours, I'm ending at 72 hours. Begin planning for success. Because people, when I talk about fasting, one of the things they say to me often is, well, suppose I. And that suppose is a plan for not success. Also, plan for cravings. Cravings are coming. Cravings are coming. Did I say it? Cravings are coming. They're coming. It's not if, it's actually a matter of when. And so when they come, what's your plan? As we talk about fasting, there are lots of tools that we've come up with that you should be learning. Right? Move a muscle, change a thought. What does that mean? A 1 to 2 minute walk helps the cravings. Cravings are not an emergency. Just because you crave something doesn't mean that if you don't get that thing, that the world falls apart. Cravings will come. Hunger is important right now, but appetite and cravings, they come in waves. And they come and they feel urgent. So what are you going to do when the cravings come? You got to have a plan. And your plan for the moment you want to quit. Let's do it next week moment. That also will come depending on what's going on in your life. I've had them. And so what is my plan? What is your plan for that time? Okay? And we'll do more discussions about those types of things. But we're talking about preparing. We're talking about preparing. So these are not emotional failures when things happen. These are structural issues. So structure prevents sabotage before sabotage starts. Right? So don't wing your last meal. Make sure you're hydrated. Set your structure in place. And then know your hunger waves. Hunger comes in waves. 20 to 30 minutes, surges. If you ride the wave will pass. Hunger is not an emergency. It's a signal. And just like other signals, you can pay attention to them and you can decide how to respond. It's not that you've got to respond right now, right here. Yeah. And then expect a mid-shift window. So hours 10 to 16 are where most people talk themselves out of fasting. When you begin to hear those voices, this is actually normal. Your body is switching gears. Your brain is renegotiating comfort. This is not weakness. This is a transition. Make sure that you're watching. Make sure you're looking at the various phases that we've done so far. Go back and watch the transition at 33 hours. Watch the adaptation at 56 hours. It's not a weakness. Okay? And so that is the phase one, the setup. And so phase two is all about being steady. This is where structure replaces the struggle. The things that you've done before, that you put in place, now support you through this period. So this is the 24. So we've gone past now that first 24. Now we're at 24 to the 60 hours. This is where fasting becomes practice. It's not a test of willpower. It's not a punishment. It is a skill, and just like any other skills, you can get better at it. This phase is not the 33-hour transition. It's not the 56-hour adaptation that we talk about. This is the strategy. On the middle hours, how to stay steady, even when your emotions, your environment, and the things around you are pushing you to shift. So let's break down what the essential blueprint strategies are. Number one, during this period, you have to surf the hunger wave. Don't fight it. It's kind of like when I was learning how to swim. They told me that if you need help and someone comes to help you, try not to fight. Now, they tell the person who's coming to get you, hey, the person's gonna fight. They're gonna. But this is a surf. This is a wave. If you can surf the wave and not fight it, then the wave doesn't have the effect. You do not push through hunger. You observe it. You don't fight it. Ask yourself, is this real hunger or not? Our COPE model, COPE, clarify, observe, pause, and execute. Right? So observe or clarify. I know this is not hunger because I just ate. I know this is not hunger because my body has stored energy. So what is it? Is it boredom? Am I getting into a habit? Am I observing the things around me, people getting up and going to eat? Do I smell something that reminds me about food? Is there a sight? Is there an emotion that just happened? Some discomfort, some conversation I just had? Is there a meeting that I just got out of that's frustrating me? And I normally use food as a buffer, but I don't have that anymore. What really is driving this? Most hunger is pattern driven. It's not physiologic. It's actually a pattern that we've gotten used to that we repeat over and over and over. Remember, our bodies will default to what we know. In times of emotional change, we'll go back to what we know. That's why it's so important to practice over and over and over and over and over, right? Because what you want to do is when the body defaults to go back to what it knows, you want it to go back to what you've already programmed. So number one is surf the wave. Don't fight it. Number two is use walking as a fasting stabilizer. Remember, move a muscle, change a thought. A 10, 15-minute walk can smooth glucose. It can reduce cortisol, which is that stress hormone. It can calm the hunger. And it can improve clarity. That's why we emphasize so much the MOVE campaign in your normal daily routine, but also here. As you move, it can reset your energy. And remember, movement, just like fasting, it's not a punishment. It is regulation. It helps you to tell your body, hey, we're okay. It helps to calm. It helps to burn sugar. It helps with our insulin sensitivity. Number three, make sure that you are hydrated and make sure that you're paying attention to see whether you need electrolytes. So make sure you're hydrating. As we said before, when we're fasting, we tend not to think about drinking because we're not eating. And so we don't do a good enough job of hydrating. And if you're feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, and you are drinking, make sure that you've got some electrolytes in there. So hydration is your fasting safety net. Cravings often aren't food cravings. They're hydration or even sometimes mineral, right? Those electrolytes. And then let's avoid two mistakes that can cause us to break the fast. Mistake number one is overthinking the fast. We begin catastrophizing. Oh, if I get into the fast, I'm not going to be able to make it to 24 hours. Oh, I'm going to get I'm going to get a headache. My blood sugars are going to drop. I'm going to be so hungry. And we start doing that. And that throws us off. Mistake number one, overthinking the fast. Mistake number two is waiting until the breaking point to intervene. I want you to think of this kind of like a roller coaster. Right, so you're on the roller coaster, and the point of roller coaster is doing this and is going up and down and is doing all this stuff, right? Well, the roller coaster, at some point in the ride, it always goes to that highest peak. And you're in the car and you see it coming, right? You're going up and down, and you're anticipating, oh yeah, we're gonna get over there, and you see it coming, and that roller coaster, that car is going up, 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 up. You know what happens when the car gets to the top? It's coming down the other side. Now, you may say, I'm not going down. You can scream, you can yell, you can hold on, you can shout. But guess what? The car, the momentum that has built up when it got to the top, now it has all that potential energy and it's coming down the other side. So if you notice something in your body, don't wait until the breaking point. If you notice some emotions are building up, if you're noticing that, hey, I'm feeling a lot more tired. Hey, I'm feeling dizzy. I'm feeling lightheaded. I'm feeling palpitation. Whatever it is, don't wait until you get to that point where you have to break. Let's figure out what's going on. This is not a test of suffering. It's a practice of stability. So pay attention to what's going on in your body. Pay attention to your numbers. If you got a monitor, make sure you're paying attention to those blood sugars. And then protect your emotional window. Protect your emotional window. So around 36 to 48 hours, emotions can intensify. This doesn't mean that fasting is failing. It means that you're becoming more aware. Awareness is a part of restructuring. We often are so tied to buffering, that is, doing things that blunt, that insulate, that avoid food, for example. So when we're not eating, when we're fasting, we don't have that anymore. And so now we're feeling and experiencing those things in the raw. And we now are becoming more aware of what's going on in our body. So it's not that you're failing. It's not a problem. You're becoming more aware. And then watch for the wall. Watch for the wall. The wall is not a physical wall. It's a mental wall. It's the friction plus some cortisol spiking. So as you go through, right, cortisol initially is up. Yep. You will have periods where different things over the course of the fast will push buttons. You'll have a conversation that just a little bit didn't go the way you want. You're going to be rushing, being late to work, just a little bit, and you feel a little bit frustrated. You're going to come home, and if you're not careful, if you've not timed your fast well, so somebody's eating popcorn, warming up popcorn, somebody is something. And notice what happens is we got a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and after a while it begins to add up, and so the cortisol starts to go up. So there's some friction. The solution to that is, one, preparing before, remember, as we talked about before, but also water. Diverting your thoughts by water. Getting some minerals in there. Getting some rest, going for a light walk. Remember, move a muscle, change a thought. Deep breathing, box breathing. Breathe it in for 4, hold it for 4. Breathe out for 4, hold it for 4. Right? Do that 3 times. Reconnecting with your why. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that I can be healthy, so that I can hang out with the grandchildren. I'm doing this so I can be healthy, so I can be around for my daughter or my son who are going to get married. I'm doing this so I can be healthy, so I can be around for when we go on that trip. Structure diffuses the wall, which means that we have to have the structure already in place. So we're talking about getting through the fast. And so during the fast, remember, we're not chasing energy in this phase. We're steadying it. Your brain is using ketones. Your system is predictable. Your emotions are leveling. You've done this over and over, and the body's getting used to it. Metabolic adaptation. So all the hormones now, they understand. Autophagy is in full force. This is the moment where fasting stops being effort and it starts becoming a design. We've got the routine. We've done it once. We've done it twice. We've done it 3 times. We've done it 4 times. We've done it 12 times. We've done it for a year, 2 years, 3 years. So that's the steady phase. And then phase 3, we break the fast. And in this case, we're doing 72 hours, right? We're a little over 72 hours right now. This is the 60 to 72 hour period. So refeeding completes the metabolic loop. Refeeding completes the metabolic loop. The end of the fast is just as important as the preparation, which is just as important as the middle or the steady phase. Breaking the fast well is what keeps next week's fast successful. So let's walk through the refeeding blueprint. Number 1, your first bite determines everything else until the next fast. And sometimes even the next fast. One bite of something that was not planned, something that spikes the blood sugar, something that causes an insulin response, can shut the entire metabolism down with a quickness and undo the things that we've done. So I want you to hear me. So if the very first thing that you eat coming out of the fast is a donut, that donut has ripple effects that are felt for months and years, because the fasting becomes challenging because let me tell you what people say. I fasted and I lost weight. I fasted, my blood sugars got better. But when I finished the fast, I was so hungry, I can't fast again because fasting just makes me hungry. So I'll say, what did you eat for the first meal? I said, oh man, we were having such and such, and I had some pasta, I had, pizza, we had, and they'll go through the list. And notice all the things that I'm talking, or all the things I'm saying so far, are things that are high in carbs, which will cause a spike in blood sugar, leading to a spike in insulin. Insulin is an appetite stimulant. So when insulin comes out, we're off to the races, because now the cravings start. The cravings start, and we start eating. Because we start eating, we're eating not the things that we want to eat and we plan to eat, but we're eating things that are also high in carbs, and our weight goes up because the insulin takes all that sugar and it converts it to fat and it stores. And so you fasted, did a great job, but now the weight is higher. Why? Because of how we ate when we ended the fast. So your first bite after the fast should be gentle. So this is not the time to have that 12-course meal. It should be slow, right? Don't just, or don't vacuum the food in. It takes about 20 minutes for the signal to get from your stomach to your brain that you're full. If you eat quickly, what happens is the brain gets the signal, but it's behind the 2 plates of food that you just ate. It should be protein forward. So thinking lean proteins, healthy fats. Remember we talked about that coming into the fast, they help to keep us satiated or keep us less hungry. In the fast, we're not eating, but when we come out of the fast, the protein also helps to slow the digestive system, helps to keep us full longer, and it helps to blunt cravings. Right? Make sure you're paying attention to that first bite. Number 2, here's a refeeding protocol for you. All right? Just kind of outlining what we just talked about. So get a piece of paper, pause, rewind, listen, and begin constructing this. Number 1, light protein. Just talking about the refeeding. What are you going to put on that plate? Number 2, non-starchy vegetables. Number 3, healthy fats. Number 4, if you have carbohydrates in there, they should be complex carbohydrates, not high glycemic index carbohydrates. And then number 5, eat slowly and wait 2 to 3 hours before you have the large meal. Because it's coming, right? But don't let that be the meal at the end of the fast. So that's your protocol. So light protein, non-starchy vegetables, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates if you have carbohydrates in there, and you wait 2 to 3 hours before the larger meal. I should say 2 to 4 hours, but 2 to 3 hours. Okay? All right, so here are some foods that you want to avoid in the first 12 to 24 hours. Now, I've told my folks that you will never hear me tell you that there's a food that you can't eat. I always couch it in portion control. But for the first 12 to 24 hours, these are some things you should consider avoiding. Number one, bread during that first, right? So all these things, you're going to notice a pattern. Pasta, pastries, rice, fruit juice, regular soda, alcohol, heavy sugars, ice cream, chocolate, cookies, cake. Do you notice something? They're all highly high sugar. These will all cause spikes. And so that's the list, but remember I told you, I want you to notice something, right? I want you to notice the pattern. And the reason I gave the list was not so that you will go and look, well, it's not on the list so I can eat it, but for you to understand what the things are. So things that fall into categories that will cause the same response also are on that list. And that's one of the reasons I don't like giving lists, because people will, okay, that's all that's on the list, so I can do everything else. No, the concept is what I want you to get. Highly sugary foods you want to avoid during the first 12 to 24 hours. And then the next thing is we want to make sure that we're understanding how digestion resets after a long fast. Your GI tract, your gut, needs gentle onboarding when you start eating again. The first 6 to 12 hours are about rebuilding the digestive fire, the things that are going on. Your body is quiet, it's resting, it's diverted itself to cleanup, to autophagy, to recycling, to decreasing inflammation. Those cells, those goblet cells that are in the GI tract are now quiet and they're resting. When you start eating, if you dump stuff in, they got to wake up quickly. And when that happens, you can have things like bloating, abdominal pain, nausea, increased elimination. And then you want to avoid what I call the reward trap. The reward trap says, man, I've done such a good job. I'm going to go reward myself. And I reward myself with fast sugar, baked goods, highly processed foods. And then we get into the same thing we just talked about. So this is kind of like the metabolic cliff. Remember your structure, stick to your structure. The structure is greater than reward. If you stick to the structure says that you're going to be able to have some things in that category, not right now. Right, that reward cliff, because you get pushed over. And then plan your next meal before you break this one. This is key. So what am I going to eat the next time? What did what I ate before getting into the fat, did it help me? Did it not help me? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to tweak? What do I like? Your body loves a rhythm. So begin going through this each time you're fasting. What am I going to eat the next time, right? And you're preparing, and I have what I call my default meal. And I tell people that you should be creating your default meal. And the default meal is you can show up anywhere at any time. And you have a basic structure of what the meal should look like. And then now you just go about in that environment creating that meal because you're taking things from different places. That's why I do what I do on Tuesdays when I start my fast. So we do Tuesday to Wednesday, that's day 1, Wednesday to Thursday, day 2, and Thursday to Friday, day 3. So on Tuesday when I start my fast at the office with whatever they have. Bring it on in. Then I go downstairs to the cafeteria. Usually, I get a base salad, depending on what they bring in, and then I construct my meal because I have in my head what my default meal is, and it's based on what we just talked about. Now, here's an important thought and point for you. The meal that you eat to start the fast and the meal that you eat to break the fast can be the same meal. In fact, the concepts within those meals should be what you're doing all the time, even when you're not breaking or starting or breaking a fast. This should be the way you think about food in your eating window. If you do that, then your fast goes well, getting into the fast. The breaking of the fast goes well, and your metabolism is excited and happy and improves because you're eating this way all the time. This is not a diet. It's not a list of foods to eat or foods not to eat. This is the way you should think about foods. Yeah. Because when you do that, then you are setting yourself up for the best possibility of success. So phase 1, getting into the fast, beginning. Phase 2, the steady phase. Phase 3 is breaking the fast. And then let's go and let's talk about the inner design loop. This is the reflection. This is the structure that keeps you going on a day-to-day basis. The inner design loop. So anchor, align, and adapt. Anchor is what's worked this week. So we're creating a structure that keeps us. What worked this week? And you want to be doing this each time you're ending the fast. What do I need to tweak? What do I need to adjust? What do I say, okay, I'm keeping this. Or, this time I didn't keep water around, so I need to make sure there's water around. This time I left the cookies in the cabinet, so next time I need to get rid of the cookies. This time I didn't ask my sister to call me or come out so we can go walking together. And I need somebody to support me. Let me make sure I arrange with her to do that. What worked? Number 2, alignment. Where did your rhythm feel steady? Where did you feel like you were gliding? What behaviors did you employ? What tools did you use? Where was that? And then number 3, adapt. We anchor, we align, and adapt. What will you tweak next week to support the structure for fasting? Right? So the inner design loop. So we want to do that every time. Every time you're breaking a fast, you're going to go through that process. Okay? So fasting, y'all, is a system. Today, we didn't study just the science. We studied the system. When you prepare for the fast, manage the fast, and break the fast on purpose, fasting becomes predictable. Predictability becomes safety. Safety becomes consistency, and consistency becomes transformation. So structure turns discipline into design, and design turns fasting into freedom, which is what we want. We want the freedom to have success in our health. We don't want it to be a fight, a battle every time we think about being healthy. So limitless living. The limitless living method says we design the life, we build the health, and we live limitless. You have amazing capacity. to make changes to be successful. It takes structure. It takes alignment. It takes rhythm. And that's what we do. We continue doing that each time so that you, your brain, your body, your environment, your family, your friends, everything around you is now a part of this system. This is not something that you do today and tomorrow and then next week or next year you're like, oh man, remember that time when we did that thing? No, this is how we function. This is who we are. This is how we get the benefit. We build it into our lifestyle. And when you do that, you get amazing ability. So you've completed 72 hours. You've learned the fasting system. You've seen your numbers stabilize. You've built trust with your metabolism, and your metabolism is learning to trust you. We want you to be around for all those important things in your life. For the connections, family, the friends, for the dreams that you've been investing in and that you've been pouring into. Let's educate ourselves. Let's empower ourselves with the tools. And let's have the support that we need. And you get that right here. Join us next time for another episode as we continue our trek to improve our health and to be around for a long time and to be healthy. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. All right, so I am always excited when I get to hang out with you. This is an amazing space. So let's go ahead and let's do this right now. Right, I'm going to bring up what I am going to eat for the first time right here in 72 hours. That's our plan. So let's go ahead and let's do that right now. I'm going to grab it. Actually, let me do one thing first. I'm going to bring this up. I thought I was, but maybe not. All right, so let's put that on the screen. So this is my meal, and as you know, let's get this stuff off of there. As you know, I always start with a salad, and so this salad is made up of, and it's a little different than we've used to. I was actually going to do a full vegetarian salad, but I ended up putting some jerk chicken over here. So I've got jerk chicken. I've got some tofu that I made just before I came on screen. Below there's some cabbage and lettuce. There's some red onions. Of course, here are some tomatoes, right? So all of this is, and we're going to walk through balanced bites here in just a minute so that you understand, and this is the way we should be eating as we're breaking the fast, right? So whole foods, and if you look at this, the only thing here that's not whole foods would be, of course, the dressing, the cheese, the tofu, right, is made out of soy, so it's not whole in its normal form. So it is packaged, right, and it is processed, right? So tofu, whole foods, no added sugar. So aside from the dressing, nothing else has added sugar in here. Lean protein, healthy fats, and lean protein would be the chicken. Of course, the tofu. I don't have any nuts in here, but I usually have nuts as well. Healthy fats, salad dressing, cheese. There's some cheese under there. There's some feta cheese, and I think there's a blend. I forgot what it's called, but there's a blend of cheese, different cheeses in there. Starchy, non-starchy vegetables. So in this meal, there aren't any starchy vegetables, right? So everything here is starchy. We've got cabbage, we've got green onions, we've got lettuce, We've got the tomatoes, and of the things on this plate, the thing that probably spikes my blood sugar the highest is going to be the tomatoes. At least for me, that's what I've learned about my body. Portion controlled, portion, and then tasty and flavorful, right? Tasty and flavorful. So let's go ahead. As I do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start saying hello to some of our community members. So let me go ahead and pull that up. And Little Pig, Little Pig 56. Let's see, let's do this one. Okay. Says that my ketones 1.6, blood work next week. Awesome. Well, 1.6. Let me go ahead and I'm going to see. Can you guys see that? No, you still see. Okay, here we are. All right. Kudos to you. Hand clap. Gian says, hi, doctor, and LLG. Great Little Pig from Gian. Gian, how are you? And maybe this fixed my name. Little Pig 56. Well, I'm not sure if that's not the name, but that's what we're still seeing. And then Gian is smiling. So glad that you all are here hanging out with us. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab something. Let's change this to this view, and you get to see me as I eat. First, I'm gonna have some of the tofu. Now, the reason I usually start with a salad. That's good. Now, I'll say I did not taste the tofu before I came on. So, but that's good. Now, I've made tofu before, so I anticipated it was going to be good, but as I've said before, I'm not a great enough cook so that I can cook without tasting. So if I have to cook while I'm fasting, that sometimes poses a challenge, which is why I try not to cook when I'm fasting. That's good. So I start with the salad because it gives me bulk. That's so good, y'all. And the bulk helps me feel fuller longer. And the way I make my salads, and actually let me do this. So my salad has, oh, I forgot. I also have some garbanzo beans in there. And some red beans. Delicious. And I love all the flavors, the different textures. And in fact, I've started using less dressing on my salads. And that was not well, initially it was a deliberate choice, right? But my salads are so flavorful with all the things that I put in it that the salad dressing sometimes decreases the flavor for me, which is odd, right? That's delicious. You get some of that jerk chicken. That one doesn't want to come on the fork. So good, y'all. Yeah, Lil Pig says looks delicious. It is. So good. Okay, one more bite. Okay, one more bite. Oh yeah. So fasting, y'all, has a tremendous ability to right the metabolism. So we're fasting not just to fast, not just to say we're fasting. We're fasting for some benefit. And the benefits that we're looking for has to do with what goes on in our metabolism. So you want to make sure, and that's why I do the check-ins, so that we are able to see and hear the things that are going on in the body. We talk about the food so that you can be successful. If you're using a tool, you want to make sure that you're using the tool correctly and you're getting the benefit from the tool that you want. And so we here on the show talk about our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the podcasts, with the blogs. We empower with the tools that we learn, and we encourage with this amazing community that you are a part of, that you're helping us to build. So make sure when you come through that you're sharing your stories, letting us know where you are. Like Little Pig says, my ketones were 1.6. All of that, important. When you have successes, share that here. Your weight, your blood sugars, you're getting off of medication, your metabolism improving, your fatty liver, your blood sugar, blood pressure, all of that, share that here. But also share with us the places you're having some challenges so that we can come alongside and we can begin working together. Okay? So one of the things that I hear from people often is that I don't want to tell people where I'm struggling. Well, you know what? The place you're struggling is probably the place where I'm struggling as well, or the place that somebody else has a question. So when you ask the question, you're actually not just helping yourself, but you're helping the community at large. Okay? All right, so as we go through the rest of the week, we've got Video from the Vault that's coming up here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central, Video from the Vault. We've got This Week in Review on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Central, and we've got the Blueprint series continuing on Monday as we move into a new week. Remember, next week we're going to be a little different. We're going to be a little off schedule as the holidays are coming up. And so we'll have our show, we'll have our What's Happening This Week, of course, preview. We'll have our Monday show, and we'll have our check-in on Tuesday. The rest of the week after that is going to be looking a little different, so pay attention to that. And come on anyway to the show, right? Wherever you are, come let us know. Send us a picture of what you're eating. Send us a picture of what you're doing. Send us a picture of the connections that you're making, where you are in your family and in your community, right? So stay structured, stay consistent, stay encouraged, and always remember the limitless living method that says I'm showing up with my best self, my best health, and my best plans. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Now go live a limitless life, because we want you to show up, and we want you to have success in your health just like you're having everywhere else. Showing up for the family, for the friends, for the community, for the dreams that you have, and you want to be healthy, and you got to be around for that. Let's go ahead. We'll listen to this MOVE campaign, and then we'll be out of here. Have a great one, everybody. Have a great weekend. Welcome to MOVE, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started.